Hello everyone, I'm Adam Papagan. Welcome to another episode of There's a Place, the ASMR talk show. The show that feels good to hear. ASMR is, of course, the little soft noises that exist around, and people, when they hear them, it causes certain people tingling in the front part of their brain. ASMR. Google it if this is your first time joining us. Well, folks, today, and this is rare, this doesn't always happen, I experienced a dream come true, which is I got into Disneyland for free. This is something that I've wanted to happen for a long time. I think I've talked about it on this show, but it's an example of how you just put something out into the universe, and by positive thinking, you can actualize it and make it happen. I've gotten comped to movies, I've gotten comped to rock concerts, but Disneyland was really the jewel in the crown of comps. So that's what I wanted to happen. So I got into Disneyland for free, and the catch was, I'm a tour guide and met a lady in one of my tour groups, longtime employee. She'd give me in for free. The catch was I had to hang out with this old lady all day in Disneyland. So she knows a lot about Disneyland for sure. She definitely helped me out. 2 parks for free. But you know, there's sometimes we're waiting in line or whatever. But there were other parts when we were just like hanging out, eating and talking and stuff. And I was like, because I knew I had the show tonight, I was thinking, this is what it's all about. Not the rides and the food and the stores and the shopping, but really just, you know, spending time with another person. And then she got tired. She had to leave about 3 o'clock. So I had the rest of the day to myself in the park. And of course, that was way better. Man, was it better just down with this old lady, just hanging out on my own at Disneyland. It's great by yourself. You can eat whatever you want, you go on whatever rides you want, you can snake in between the crowds, and really great. Of course, that's where it's at. Also, if anybody has a connection, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, Six Flags, anything like that, I'd love to come and talk about your park on There's a Place. Folks, my guest tonight is a longtime friend. We were just before the show, we were talking, probably know each other 7 years. He is a professional musician in the rock and roll scene, working today. You know, people think that rock is dead, people say that, but this is someone kind of right out of the past, just like Abraham Lincoln on Main Street, USA, you know, showing us what it's all about. Please welcome my good friend, Chase Kenobi.
Good to see you.
Cool, you too. Thanks for coming by. We're dressed exactly the same.
We are sitting exactly the same too.
Yeah. Did you can do whatever you want. Did you notice that we were dressed kind of the same when?
Not until right now, no.
I did.
Yeah.
And I thought about changing, but I was like, no, it's better.
It is better.
Gray shirt, the pocket, the red.
Mm-hmm.
In our defense, there's only so many stylistic choices you can make.
Absolutely. Especially with black pants. I can't really do black on black all the time.
Yeah, I don't.
And heather gray works good for my general, like, build and stance, and it works out, I think. Did you get that shirt today from Disneyland?
No, this tag says it's a employee exclusive. I got it at Goodwill last week in anticipation for this trip.
Nice.
People do that. They wear Disney stuff when they go.
It's like wearing the band's t-shirt to the show you're going to.
What's the opposite? Well, because if you're not cool, you wear the band shirt.
True. Well, now I feel like it's kind of changed. Now I think it's kind of cool to do it. I just see it a lot, or like a lot of kids who like, you know, at any show we'll buy the shirt and then immediately put it on, like right after they buy it. Instead of, I guess that's to not hold it the entire time too, but.
No, it's silly.
It is silly. I mean, I would never do it. I couldn't ever. I'm pretty embarrassed when in that kind of situation.
But at your concerts, your fan base is a little younger. You must get people who this is their first concert or one of their first concerts.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, it's there's a lot of young kids who are kind of there. Like it is their first show a lot of the time, I think.
And it's, because you've been at it, we'll get more into it, but you've been at it with Joyce Manor for a good chunk of time, 6-7 years, probably around.
Started the end of 2008.
Okay, so yeah. You know,
coming up on 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, pretty, rounded up.
Yeah.
We're really close.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've been in for a while, but you, does your fan base stay the same age? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, are you catching the same different young kids?
I think so. It's kind of hard to tell because luckily we've been on like a very steady, like, you know, climb.
Ascent.
Yeah, ascent. So I think we won't really know until it kind of goes down. But I think that is sort of a.
Yeah, that's true. I'll talk to you again in
totally.
years.
Yeah.
But
but I think for the most part, yeah, there are always new like 14-year-olds and then, or like, you know, 14 to like 18. Like there's kind of new kids getting into it, which is great. Like I think that's kind of the goal.
That's like every band though, successful band.
Successful, yeah.
There's kind of, you know, it's one of these things I think people don't realize when they set out to start just, you know, jamming with their friends or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's kind of, if you learn how to play or whatever and you get good at talking to people and booking shows or whatever, you either go the like, you're just in a bar band, like playing to your friends over and over again, mm-hmm. and that's gonna peter out, or you are in the music industry, mm-hmm. and that is like the same as it's always been, where it's like when you see like the Beatles and it's like young kids listening to that, and young kids still listen to it, and then you get the people who keep liking it as they grow older, they age with you, mm-hmm. but it's like, I think people don't realize that part of it is it's like remember the first band you were into in middle school? Mm-hmm. Like everyone has that.
I think that kind of plays toward the band's longevity, really, because there are certain things that kids just like, whether it's cool or not. Like if you play like the Ramones for like a 6-year-old, they're gonna love it, mm-hmm. and because it just like it's very like on a very fundamental level, it's enjoyable. If you play like that same kid like Cold Cave or something, it's not really gonna respond in the same way. So I think that there's like trends that kind of come through, but I think like, you know, a lot of kids will be into your band until it's kind of like not cool anymore to be into a band because it's kind of immature, or like, especially with like something like pop punk or something where you kind of, it's part of it to grow out of it and get more into more sophisticated things, and then later you go back and you're kind of like, oh, you know, there's some good songs here. So I think it plays into, I think how good a band is, it'll be good like when you're too young to be embarrassed about it. And then when you're embarrassed about it, you'll still kind of like it. And then when you're old enough and you're not trying to be cool for anybody, you're just like, oh, I like this now again. So
it sounds like you've had this discussion before.
Yeah, I've had a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Pop punk, you do kind of have to get away from it.
Yeah, in order
but as the group, mm-hmm. you have to keep it going.
It's true. I mean, there's in a lot of ways, like you kind of got to be.
It's like the fountain of youth, but like the negative side of it.
It's true.
Except you're in a band, so it's like not like.
It's not so bad. Yeah.
It's kind of tight, actually.
Totally. Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, you have to embrace being a clown in front of, like that's what Barry and I were kind of talking about today. It was just like, you have to own being like the clown, and then you will be the best clown. But if you have this like push and this like inner struggle about like, I'm just a normal person and I'm like, I can't put myself out there, then it gets weird and sad and embarrassing, like for everybody, I think. So, you know, you have to embrace it. You have to be proud of who you are. And
especially because I mean, there's like, you know, the great artists of all time, but that's a handful of people. If you're just trying to like actually make a go of this and make it work, you got to make some concessions.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially like, you know, even...
And not even concessions, but just like, okay.
You kind of have to...
You should be learning from as you go.
Totally, yeah. And not everything is going to be, you know, the same things that are cool to you. Like, people who like your band most likely won't really care about it or have the same feelings about it. Like, you know, if it were up to me, like, we'd be... I don't know. It's just easy to think, like, when you're younger, to think that what you're doing is going to lead to this, like, this huge, like, thing that's going to be larger than life. But when, you know, but as you get older and a little more mature, it's just kind of like, hey, you know, this is perfect. Like, what I've been doing. And like, yeah, it's weird that sometimes it can be kind of strange being in a pop punk band. When it comes down to it, it's just like, yeah, you know, it's great. It's really fun. Like, I can remember being that young and going to those shows, and I think the kids who actually appreciate our band will like it for many, many years. So,
I mean, it does come down to, is the music any good?
Yeah.
As much with something like punk, and especially pop punk, because it's like kind of a postmodern thing. So much of it, as any rock music, is about not the music. You know, it's about the age you are, the feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the aesthetic of it or something.
But the good stuff sticks around.
It's true. Lots of things come and go, like, especially in just, I don't know, like, yeah, just especially in punk, like, a lot of things are fashionable at the time, and then they just kind of fall out of vogue, and then it comes back, and yeah, I don't know, it's just...
So when you were one of the kids, like the kids who come to your shows, 14, let's say, what pop punk bands were you watching where you're just like, oh, that seems cool, I should do that?
I guess I didn't. I don't know, it's weird because I never really identified with that as something that I would be good at. I think I was into like Blink-182 and Green Day, obviously, but I never saw those
bands.
The
most popular bands of
exactly.
their era.
Yeah. But then, like, you know, I never got into stuff that was really going on at the time. As far as pop punk went, a lot of the times there's like a weird blend of like metalcore that I just wasn't really into. A lot of those people, like, I think pop punk went the way of like dirt bikes and like surfing, like, by the time I was like old enough to go to shows. So I was more into like anything else, like ska or something, like the bro-y people that were into it I wasn't really down with. But then, like, I don't know, I was into like folk punk and stuff. So when, you know, me like listening to like the Beach Boys or something while also being into like more like kind of extreme, I guess, punk music, like, when you wed the two, like, you kind of get something that is pop punk, I think. So it kind of happened almost accidentally. But yeah, but in this, like, I didn't really get into like more like real like 90s pop punk until after I was already in that band. It was just kind of like writing a song that made sense. So I don't know, I was way more into like watching like a ska band, thinking like I could do that, but I couldn't because it's hard. You have to be a really good musician to be in a ska band, I think, and
that's why there's so few of them. That's the reason. There's not enough talented
finally cracked it.
horn players.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like you have to orchestrate a lot of parts for like
for nothing though. To entertain middle schoolers.
Yeah.
That's the music you grow out of.
Absolutely.
Ska.
Yeah. You really do. It never really stops being embarrassing at a certain point. A lot of people would disagree, but, you know.
No, because like I saw Real Big Fish a couple years ago at the Warped Tour, and like I noticed with your band, people, like adults, will be like, I don't normally like this kind of music, but this band, like, they'll kind of like make an excuse. It's like, whatever. Like,
yeah.
The fact that you like any contemporary band, it's like, just listen to the music you liked in high school. Like, what do you need new music? Like, you know, no knock on your band, but it's
I get it.
Like, you have to qualify your taste and
right.
An adult. But I don't think anybody's going with Real Big Fish. Like, you know, I don't normally like ska punk, but this is, you know.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So you're at least a step ahead. And no knock on that. I mean, as
Yeah.
a middle schooler on Warped Tour, I had them autograph my checkered Vans.
There you go.
At a tent. Missed seeing other bands
Mm-hmm.
to get that autograph.
To get that?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think,
But that's really what it's all about, though.
you know what's funny, though, is that a lot of ska guys end up
They want
being-
us to be quieter. A lot of ska guys.
a lot of ska guys end up becoming producers. Like the guy from Goldfinger, he's like won Grammys and stuff. Like he produced and like co-wrote like a Hillary Duff song and the new Blink-182 record and stuff. So I think a lot of those people, like, I think ska was merely a vessel for good songwriting for such a long time that even the people making it ended up being like, yeah, let's move on. I got better things going.
That's a pretty...
Third wave ska. But
Yeah, of course. That's a pretty... I don't want to say popular, there's not a ton of people doing it, but that seems like the career path you want from punk, is then you just get into producing like Britney Spears like album songs, not the singles.
Totally, yeah. You become the punk guy that they're like, you know what, I want more of an urgent song.
Edge, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Let's get this guy who is not really that punk.
Tim Armstrong and
Jimmy
Pink.
Cliff record and Pink, yeah.
Gee, I didn't know about the Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah, I think that's...
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, a little bit. It's... Yeah, I
Tim
mean,
Armstrong sold a lot of records.
he's...
Not that many, though. Not as many as Bono.
Not as many as Bono, but like, you know, he's up there, I think. And he's like had a lot of records, sold a lot of them, and also, like, I think he's technically a Grammy-winning artist too for the Jimmy Cliff record. And but yeah, I mean,
Best world salsa or reggae production.
like clump it together. Is that really like just like general world music?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they do. And those ones aren't even televised.
Yeah, the Grammys are silly.
Every other award show, it's like, hey, this might not be what the mainstream likes, but this is really the best movie, this foreign independent film. This is really the best TV show, this little show on cable or whatever. The Grammys don't reflect like quality music at all. You look at like the Pitchfork album of the year,
Right, yeah.
and then and they're never even close.
Yeah,
It's like
always,
Beyonce or
worlds
something.
apart. Or yeah, or it's like Solange versus like Adele, like winning like the award or something. It's kind of strange. Well, the people who vote, like, it's even less. I feel like it's funny with music to not have it be like a listener's choice or something. It's just this legion of people who produce records and write songs, and so it's a funny thing. And I'm sure a lot of them are super old, like just old world music industry people that are just like, no, this is a tune, like that kind of thing.
How much dealings do you have with the music industry
Not
on
very
your level?
many.
Because you guys tour around steadily all over the world, what are you guys up to? You drop a couple thousand people a night on a big night?
In the bigger cities, I'd say probably about like 1,500 would be like kind of on the upper end of things.
But then any town you could do 500 people would show
Yeah.
up. Any place, pretty much.
I'd say so.
500 people.
Five might be a little generous, but like around the neighborhood of like, you know.
If they have a place that big, but
Exactly. We
but
play-
a little club. You could sell a club out.
Yeah, absolutely. And
People wouldn't be old enough to drink probably at the show, but
Yeah.
So like you're a successful band, a working band, obviously, but like, you know, back in the day, if you were a band at your level, you'd be playing arenas.
yeah, or at least
Like-
like the bigger, like at least like the Wiltern, like No Question. Or
Yeah,
something, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
just without any hits or any because it was just like there's so few bands and it's
Yeah.
funneled through like the record label system and
It doesn't, yeah, I mean, there's nobody really spending money on lottery tickets anymore. So, you know, there aren't these labels that are just kind of like, well, this band might do good, let's just throw $500,000 at them and see what happens.
push it to all the radio
Yeah,
stations,
so
get
it's
the A&R.
publicized and everything. But now it's funny because a lot of major record labels they're like in bed with all the streaming services. So that's why all these like indie bands like Arcade Fire, LCD Sound System are going to majors now, because it's like that is radio now. Like, that is how you're able to just get it out there, more so than just being on Matador or, you know, I forgot what LCD Sound System's on, but just like one of the bigger like independent labels. It's, you get so much more pull if you're on a major that has, you know, a relationship with Spotify or something. So that being said, it's like,
so there's still the gatekeepers
in
to
some
just kind of
ways.
pick.
Yeah, but it's also just on this extreme decline. Like, I mean, it seems like it's going to be difficult to really. It's really difficult to predict what's going to happen in the future, I think, for a lot of people, because I don't really know either, like, really what's going on. Like, as far as meeting industry people, like, I'm not really the person in the band who would, like, get that email or get that call.
That's true. You're just there to, like,
yeah, I'm just
go
there
like
to strum away, point. Yeah.
to your head. Do you point when you play guitar?
No, I don't.
You should do it.
I should more often. Sometimes I'll point at somebody. Jeff Oles was talking to me about how at Whole Foods he trained himself to point with his pinky instead of his.
He trained himself.
That's what he said. It's less aggressive, because like if a customer asks him like
Disneyland two finger point.
Two-finger point.
Yeah.
That's also less aggressive, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to do stuff. I like the pinky though.
The pinky's good.
That would be a cool, like, you do like a big chord, like, boom. You go like that, and like you sing it.
It would be good.
Do you do any stage banter or anything?
Never planned, but yeah. Wait, do I personally?
Yeah.
Lately, yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For a while,
you're getting
I
up
was
on the
kinda-
mic and you're
a little bit. Like, I don't know. I think for a while I was just sort of like, you know, Barry and Matt are very funny people, and they're very just like engaging, I think. So for a while it's kind of just like, you know, you don't need a third. But I don't know, lately it's just kind of fun. Like, it's more fun to engage people rather than just stand there like you're in Yola Tango, just trying to look at the ground and like be cool, you know? Like I said, we're in pop punk bands, you kind of have to embrace the inner clown, you know?
I always like a little bit of showmanship, and I think contemporary bands don't do that.
It's
Because you got a big, you think of it from like a comedy standpoint, you got 500 people in front of you listening to what you're saying.
yeah,
Tell a joke or something.
totally. And you know what's different?
You can do the same joke every night. They're
And
gonna
what's-
love it no matter what.
Yeah, and what's really cool about comedy is that I feel like most people who come to see a comedian, especially when they don't know very well, they want them to not be funny. Like, they want them to kind of fail or something.
Yeah, they're like,
But with musicians, they're just like, be cool for me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's like fish in a barrel a lot of the time. You can just yell, like,
Yeah.
"Wow," and then everybody will just freak out. Like, you can do this,
Yeah.
and then they'll start circle pitting. It's really, it's power, you know, power corrupts though. So you have to really harness it while also express it.
do you feel corrupted by?
No.
You guys are pretty tame.
We don't really get that wild. It used to be a little more. I don't know. The shows get bigger. It's less.
Not
of
even
a-
the shows, like you as people are like.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's sort of winding down. I mean, everybody's 30. I'm 25.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
you're
like,
the young man of the group.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for good reason. I think everybody. It's not this crazy adventure so much anymore, even though it's like, it's still my favorite thing to do. But I think, you know, like a lot of the times you have to consider, like, you just start doing it more, and playing a bad show becomes kind of devastating. So like, and a lot of the times if you're tired or you're just like partying super hard or everything, like, you kind of feel like the dips in quality are so much greater because your mood in general is just it just varies from night to night. So I think a lot of the times on tour now, we'll just go to bed like pretty quickly, get a hotel room, we all share beds and just sleep on the floor or something, and then just hang out, watch TV, and go to bed in like a family. So it's cool. Like, it's settled in like a nice way. And then, you know, some nights we'll go pretty wild, but you know, it's not really like a.
But you're not wrecking hotel rooms.
No, never were. Like, never really
anything.
were.
Yeah.
I wish though. I feel like you're only young enough to do that. Like, for a while. But then again, same thing going back to like all the money that was going around in the old days. You can throw a TV out a window and then it's like, oh, the label will pay for it. Now it's like,
so cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but maybe for good reason. It's all over.
Yeah, all those guys are losers, kind of. All the old rock star guys, even the cool ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Their long hair and their jeans that they wear that are all fancy.
Yeah, it gets weird. Like Metallica are like not cool guys.
And the jewelry and like good man, whatever, but like.
Yeah, I mean, you fall from grace like very quickly. Like especially if you're real hot at the time, it just dips like so hard. But.
And then you're just one of like a bunch of just like long hair has-been rock guys.
Yeah.
And you meet up, you talk about the same nonsense. Mm-hmm. Jonesy's Jukebox, love the show, but it's just like, yeah, well, back in the day, that's how it was, man.
Man, I saw this picture of Steve Jones the other day where he was like outside of his pool, and it was him, Bill Nye, and Flavor Flav.
Uh-huh. And some chick.
And some chick, yeah. I don't know who it was, but just like, hot day, glad to have a pool. But so I guess at the very least, like the celebrities just unite from all sorts of mediums.
Still celebrity.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well,
you're in a successful rock group.
Yeah, you know.
Here at Dronebox.
I think on the scheme of things, we're closer to each other than like.
I mean, we're dressed the same.
Me and
That couldn't be too different.
Yeah.
We both looked at our classes.
Not so different, you and I.
No.
It's weird because I brought a change of shirt too. Because yeah, I mean I spilled.
Ooh, what was the change shirt?
It was just a flannel.
Oh, okay.
What was yours?
Izod.
Oh, okay, like a collared shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and I spilled. I couldn't find my thermos on the way over here. I needed some coffee, so I just put it in like an old glass jelly jar, and then because I had nothing, and then I just spilled a little bit, but it seemed. Oh no, it's right there.
Yeah,
you can see.
Well, we won't zoom in.
Okay.
We won't bring any attention to the stain.
Cool, good. But this could have been avoided, like even all things considered, so easily.
You have you're pretty into dogs.
I like dogs.
You seem like you have like a connection.
Yeah.
With certain canines.
Certain canines. Well, I think now more than ever I've got like several dogs in my life actually.
You're not a dog owner though.
No, I don't. I think I'm gone too often and I'm too broke to really have one. Like I could feed a dog, but if anything happened, I don't really think I could really like.
You couldn't feed your dog if anything happened.
No. I mean, I could feed my dog. I could pay for the food.
Yeah.
I can pay for all that. But if it got,
the vet
if it
bills?
broke his leg or
forget
something,
about it.
yeah,
So expensive.
like $8,000. Like my roommate, I won't get into specifics, but like my roommate's dog tore its ACL, and it's just like, which is. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, your roommate's dog did play professional football for 4 years. I mean, you're gonna get a couple of injuries.
Yeah, it's like a sports injury, and it costs like as much as like a human surgery, but it's just sort of like you just gotta deal with it. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
how can a dog have an ACL?
Well,
it's just the joint. If it's a dog, like it's.
Well, isn't it a tendon?
Whatever it is, but it's the dog's leg. It doesn't need a super specific like.
Yeah, I mean,
it tore it.
I don't know what it was doing.
What would? How?
I don't know. It's an older dog, and it's kind of big, so maybe just going up and down stairs all the time. It's just like a dog like depreciates.
Yeah, like a car or something.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Like anything, like a person.
Yeah, and so I just can't. I just find the concept of reconciling the living thing I love versus like a monetary like hindrance. Like I'm just sort of like, it makes me sad, and I can't really deal with that right now. I think maybe one day if I'm in a better financial position or just maybe a little colder as a person, like I'd be able to do that. But yeah, I can't really handle that. But because of this position, though, you can make friendships with dogs. Exactly. I mean, you know, it's kind of a tired metaphor, but I'm like a cool uncle. You know, it's just it likes me when it's good, and I don't have to I don't have to like pick up the poop or anything. You know, that's like the owner's job. And but. That is weird. I never really thought about how a dog's ACL is like functioning in a way that you could injure it. Apparently that's the most intense pain you can experience as a person without going into shock.
But shock is worse? What does that mean, go into shock?
Well, when you go into shock, that's when your body is like, it can't deal with the pain, so it sends like a rush of like adrenaline in order for you to become like, not numb, but you're just in a state of like,
that sounds cool.
I guess trauma. I mean, yeah, I think it happens if you undergo like serious trauma. You either like pass out or you're just in like a crazy like state of, I don't know, consciousness, I guess. But yeah, apparently your ACL is just under that pain level where you just have to deal with it, like without the aid of your body helping you out.
Well, if you have a nice owner,
yeah.
They'll tore the dog's ACL.
Yeah, you're not much of a dog person, huh?
I like a dog with a winning personality. But I have really very little patience for a dog that isn't well behaved.
Yeah.
I like a loyal dog. You know the most loyal dog I've ever seen?
What?
Marnie the dog. You ever met that dog?
I have met that dog. But that poor dog.
So loyal.
It's very loyal. But also, what option does it have? It's like a dog that's at like a music festival. Of course it's gonna be like attached to its owner.
They need each other.
It's true. Like, where would she be without that dog?
Yeah.
Imagine with that, once Marnie, you know, passes away, like, what's going to become of that lady? Like, Marnie's like one in a million. She's not going to be able to replicate it.
Well, her name is Shirley. Shirley Bra, I think, is her name.
Okay.
Her Instagram has some pictures of Marnie. There actually has not been a Marnie picture on Instagram, unless they're burying it. I don't know, that dog is getting old for sure. Yeah. But she has a career as a television producer.
Okay.
So she's doing a little bit to help the dog too.
Right.
It's like Elvis and Colonel Parker situation. Yeah. It's like you can't have one without the other.
Right. So it's not necessary. It's like it's codependent. It's not.
It's a team.
Yeah, it's not parasitic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be parasitic. Yeah, parasite's not helping you. No, a lot of times you need that. You need somebody with the good idea, and then somebody who's like can be like, no, do that.
Yeah. So Marnie's Elvis. She's the Colonel.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the dog's calling the shots.
He's producing the shit.
The dog is getting her those TV gigs.
Yeah, she's up the creek once that dog's gone.
I don't know. There'll be a payday at the end.
Do you get paid for that? Like, does Marnie just make like appearances?
Licensing? Get a dog?
If Marnie had like a calendar.
But is a dog entitled to its own image? Like, you can't use the likeness of like Tom Cruise.
Right.
To like Tom Cruise by Joyce Manor, like with him on it, unless it's a parody, but you couldn't just be like, yeah, no, this is Tom Cruise here.
Right.
But with a dog,
I don't know. There's got to be laws. There's got to be like dog lawyers or like, you know, something.
It's a weird little sliver of show business, performing animals.
Celebrity pet, yeah, totally. But it's weird how Marnie's not a performer. It's just
Marnie is like
she's
the Kim
cute.
Kardashian. She's a social media
there you go.
Animal.
Yeah. The YouTube generation's Lassie.
Yeah. That's so. First of all, it's so messed up that a dog could become an actor, and like a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
Like most people who try don't, but like a couple dogs.
Yeah, and yeah, a few dogs per role most of the time.
Yeah, but then now, forget about that. A dog can be like good at. Have you seen that dog that models fashion?
No.
It's like a one of those like pointy looking like fox looking dogs.
Okay.
But they would put blazers on it, and it like you know.
It's like a high fashion.
Yeah, it does like it like pouts and stuff. That might be a sign. It's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have this industry.
Yeah.
If it's causing people to nitpick appearances so much that like pick a dog.
Well, I mean, that's something that really affected the dog industry. I don't know, like the adoption industry, is that a lot of people adopt photogenic dogs and not like, you know, I guess like French bulldogs or something, like they went, like the breeding of those dogs went up a lot because a lot of people like the way those dogs look and how they photograph. So,
but here's the thing. They're dogs. We should only be breeding photogenic ones. There should not be ones that are like misbehaved. There shouldn't be ones that aren't photogenic.
But now you're talking about cleansing.
But they're dogs. It's not cleansing. They're dogs.
I don't know, man. I think rescuing dogs is good. I think breeding is like inherently pretty evil.
Oh yeah, it's messed up.
It's selfish. It's not. I mean, you know.
But the variety.
The variety is nice, but then you get variety with like mutts at the pound. You know. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all cute. Like I'll pet a corgi that's purebred, like really unhealthy and like, you know, has weird behavioral issues, and I'll pet a dog that looks like a rat. I think they're all pretty cool.
We know who we have to give respect to is those dogs out there serving in the armed forces. Like those dogs in uniform.
Mm-hmm. You gotta
the border.
Them.
Yeah.
Also, the drug-sniffing beagles in Australia.
They're beagles.
They're beagles. Yeah, they're really cute. They're just walking through the airport and like, there's this, when we landed in, I don't know, let's just say Perth or something, like there's this guy with like dreadlocks and like a tie-dye shirt like walking through, and then like a beagle like stopped him with his bag and like barked at him, and he opened it up and the guy just had like a bag full of apples, and then the dog just found it, and it was really cute and did his job. It was good. But yeah, that's like, I mean, any dog with a job I think is pretty respectable.
Yeah.
It's another thing is that they're also taking jobs away from people, and as well as acting gigs and everything. But some dogs just do jobs you can't trust anybody else with, I suppose. What do the dogs do in the army? Like sniff out bombs?
Oh yeah, all sorts of stuff. I think they can transport stuff.
They're like, aren't there like dolphins too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. That's something that like I'm not sure if it's real or I saw it on like Hawaii 5-0 or like The Simpsons even.
Yeah.
Or no, you know what? In Austin Powers, there's dolphins with laser beams.
Oh,
I think sharks with
sharks with laser beams.
They must be training the dolphins. The dolphins are very smart.
But I also think they're smart enough to just like leave and not take orders a lot of the times. Listening to this thing about how dolphins can like speak like English, like, what, you know, in a way that like someone who knows, like who studies like language and like linguistics, and they spend a lot of time with dolphins, they begin to just pick out like the differences and the noises that they make, and then like they just learn that they develop like a lexicon, and it's
those
really
dolphins are saying about those people what we're saying about the dogs with jobs. It's like, oh, this person's smart. Most people don't get it. This one knows all the different
from a place like
lingo.
far above. Yeah. Damn. That is true.
Yeah.
Who knows how much more dogs will evolve in our lifetime. They already got skateboarding dogs.
You need the person linked with it though. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, bulldogs appear to just love skateboarding like from birth.
Is mostly you see a bulldog doing it.
It's like almost exclusively a bulldog.
Maybe the length, because they kind of look like a skateboard.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, they just hop on and start pushing, and it's like they were born to do it. It's real weird. Did you ever have a dog as a kid?
Yeah, I did. And it's a little too much work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wasn't well behaved?
Not especially. And we have from a breeder,
Right.
and it had some genetic defect. It died
Oh.
earlier than it would have if we just got some dog.
Right.
But the plus side of that, didn't have to walk it anymore. We're 14, 15 years old.
It is a chore you don't want to do at a certain point. I feel like
a
when I
world out
got
there.
when I got older, I started to get more into dogs as just a friend rather than like this thing that was preventing me from living my life to the fullest.
So Chase, what's going on with the band coming up? You got
Going on tour.
a pretty steady record tour, so you got a tour chunk.
Yeah, we've been doing, for the past 6 years, I want to say, we've been pretty good about staying on like a direct path of just touring, getting home, touring, and then doing a record, then kind of starting over. But we also have this cycle where we all get jobs. Like
Yeah,
back at
so that's
home.
something I wanted to ask about. You guys are always have worked blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
All of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how come?
Didn't go to college, and
But you have the band.
right, but that's not. It's hard to fill your entire day with that stuff. And I think when I've worked since I was like 15, like just various restaurants or bowling alley, Jamba Juice, and I think that I start to kind of lose my mind with all this free time. I'm very bad at being productive when I have too much free time. Like I need to like budget it somehow, and so just for me personally, I think it's I just feel more fulfilled and I enjoy playing music much more when it's not my only thing, even if it's just the sheer fact of like tricking myself into thinking that I'm never gonna play music again, and then I work a job for 2 months and I'm just like I hate this. Like I gotta go and like write songs or I gotta like have band practice or something. So I think we just do it because it's just, I don't know, it's good to kind of ground yourself in a certain way. Like Barry and I work in the same restaurant right now, and yeah, it's just kind of I think it's just kind of important to
the
like.
same restaurant.
Yeah, he's serving, I'm cooking. That's really funny. But then Matt's always got like a coffee thing going. Jeff works in a coffee shop right now, and yeah, we pretty much just do that until we're sick of it. Then we just be the band again. But
So the band is getting, gradually more successful. Are you getting better at working these restaurant jobs?
yes,
You are. So you're moving up in the restaurant industry too?
somewhat. I mean, it's hard to move up because I'm literally there until I have to go on tour, and then most of the time they're just like, okay, well, it's kind of 50-50 whether or not they want to keep me, because I feel like working in a kitchen, it's like you become an integral part of the staff, and it's hard to just leave that. Like right now I work 5 days a week doing this, so it's like when I leave, they're gonna have to restructure things. Like even though I'm not like the best cook they have, just the fact that I'm there for certain shifts and they can rely on me, it's harder to do it. So, but I do feel like I'm getting better and better at that. But when it comes down to it, it's like I'll never have the same drive as somebody who wants to be like a chef or something, because I have this escape pod, like where I can just be like, you know what, I'm better at this thing, and I enjoy being in a band way more. So
There's probably so many people working at restaurants who would kill to quit the restaurant.
And that's also where it kind of feels like working class fetishism in a certain weird way, where I'm kind of just like, a lot of the people, especially at this last restaurant I worked at, it was all people who worked like 2 jobs, didn't have time to see their kids because they're just working all the time. And then I was literally just like kind of arrogantly like, I gotta record a record like for a while, so bye. And yeah, I kind of feel weird and guilty about it all the time. Just knowing that, well, and then the fact is that I'm better at my job because I don't feel the pressure of like I need to keep my head above water or something, or I don't have a purpose even, or like like it is definitely a blessing. And there's most people who work those jobs, like they really have to be motivated to just do that work, and it's really something that I'm really lucky to have any sort of option, like any option at all, really. So yeah, it's definitely complicated sometimes.
Well, hard work, I think, is the name of the game, no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it and stuff. And I gotta say, knowing your group, I've known you guys for a long time, all four of you individually, could not be a nicer group of guys.
Thanks.
Who, you hear about like Led Zeppelin, they would like beat up, like abuse women and like beat up their fans and stuff. Yeah. You guys just want to watch Mrs. Doubtfire. So it's very cute and charming.
Many times. Yeah, I feel like, at a certain point you become like brothers, and I don't know, it's funny. I feel like the flip side is that sometimes we can all be pretty passive aggressive towards each other, but it's like that kind of family unit, I think, where, luckily we enjoy still hanging out and spending time with each other. So that's also just rare in general for any sort of relationship that you're going to go through. So definitely lucky in a lot of ways.
Well, Chase, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Of course, Adam. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Sorry it took so long to get you on.
It's okay.
We won't wait so long next time. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, this is Adam Papagan reminding you there's a place you can go, and it's your mind. Good night.